snow last night. Looking at today, though, mostly cloudy conditions. We'll have a few rounds of that precipitation party. Friday, a little bit breezier and a little bit chillier, but this weekend we will slightly warm up. So 30s out there right meow, which means it could be a little bit slick in a few locations. And again, a lot of cloud coverage expected for the majority of us. We might see a little bit more sun in the afternoon, and those temperatures will be in the 40s with less chances of rain during the midday hours in a few locations. I'll go over all those details with you after the break, but currently in Crystal Falls and Gwynn Sawyer, we've got 34 degrees, Iron Mountain at 35, Marquette's at 37, Escanaba and Houghton 38 degrees. Munising also 38, and it is currently 42 in Manistee. We'll also talk about where these winds are going primarily right now out of the west-southwest, staying relatively light and calm in a few locations. We'll see them breeze up today. Again, I'll time that all out for you after the break, but right now here is Rebecca Bartolome with your top stories.
After breaking a nearly 3-season losing streak, the Northern Michigan University community has been in the dark about what happened with two of the school's football coaches. That's when Wildcats football head coach Shane Richardson was suddenly placed on leave and resigned just weeks before the team's final game. The university declined to explain the situation, only calling what happened a personnel issue. After several rounds of FOIA requests, we have real answers and comment from former head coach Richardson himself. My UP Skylar Perkins has the story.
Last week, we told you our reporting on this story revealed a quiet investigation had been underway into NMU football coaches Shane Richardson and Joe Gatz. Now we can tell you why. According to newly released documents, the school was looking into allegations that there was an altercation with a student. Notes of meetings between NMU Athletic Director Richard Comley and several people involved show the sudden suspension of the coaches was due to a reported incident concerning Richardson, a player, and 3 slaps caught on camera a month prior on October 2nd. Now, we do not have a video of the incident, but descriptions in the notes say Shane looked angry, was in the student's face, and slapped him with enough force to visibly push his face aside. When asked, he told us just about the same thing he told administrators. It's not what it looks like.
I would reiterate that the relationship, the context, the intent, and the motive behind it was completely different than what the visual perception is.
And while that may sound like a familiar refrain of anyone caught red-handed, the notes seem to show that both assistant coach Joe Gatz and the player who was slapped agree, with Gatz saying he didn't think it was all that serious, and the player saying it was all a misunderstanding, even adding he didn't think the coaches deserved the investigation.
It was an unfortunate situation where I was trying to, get a player, kind of fired up and get him going a little bit.
While it's unclear exactly how the investigation began, another interview shows athletic trainers were told it wasn't just the one player who had been slapped at football practice, and the head coach told Comley he understood that he had made a mistake. On his departure, Shane told us the decision for him to resign was not an easy one, but he was as happy as any Wildcats fan to see the team bag 2 more victories without him.
I've never seen a team that has been able to stay bought in and believe so strongly in what we were doing for so long as the team, that I coached this year.
In Marquette, I'm Skylar Perkins for My UP News.
We have an update on a crash that occurred over the weekend at the Delta Plaza Mall in Escanaba. The Escanaba Department of Public Safety confirms that a Wisconsin man is dead after his vehicle crashed into the building. Public Safety says 54-year-old Kenneth Wyka was driving when his vehicle left the road and hit the mall Sunday afternoon around 2:56. First responders tried to save Wyka's life, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. No one inside the mall was hurt. The department continues to investigate the crash. Officials from the Lewis County Sheriff's Office are asking for the public's help in identifying an individual. These are images they posted on their Facebook page saying it's in regard to an incident that happened at McDonald's. If you have any information in relation to this, you can message the Sheriff's Office on Facebook or call 906-293-8431 and use the prompt for Deputy Kitzman. Michigan Department of Transportation has announced 3 Transportation Alternative Program grants for Upper Peninsula communities. These grants support projects like bike lanes and pedestrian crossings to improve road safety for all users. Delta County received 2 grants totaling over $1 million for safety and active transportation improvements along sections of the US 2, US 41, M35 corridor, with project phases scheduled for 2027 and 28. Meanwhile, Dickinson County was awarded nearly $873,000 to add paved shoulders and bike lanes on Pine Mountain Westwood Avenue, focusing on non-motorized transportation. MDOT emphasizes that these grants align with their vision to enhance public safety, economic development, and mobility options for Michigan residents. Covering over 1,000 square miles and respond at all hours of the day, emergency responders need community support so they can keep doing their jobs to keep people safe during an incident. Mercy EMS travels throughout the Copper Country, responding to car accidents, medical calls, and are there when law enforcement and firefighters need them.
That's a big challenge, but we do a really good job at making sure that we're fully staffed throughout the area. During the day, we have 2 ALS rigs on, then we also have a backup rig. So, like for example, if we do get a call in Copper Harbor, we instantly call that backup crew in, just because we know, okay, that ambulance is going to be tied up for probably like 2 hours just in sheer transport time. And then sometimes it takes a while to get these people into the ambulance and loaded, and every call is a case by case basis. But I would say that's the biggest challenge.
This year, Mercy EMS joins Copper Shores and more than 50 nonprofits during Give a Tuesday. In 2024, the campaign raised $1,100 for the ambulance provider. Those funds supported Mercy EMS purchasing new traction splints. Mercy EMS plans to use this year's funds raised to purchase new training equipment and education materials. Give a Tuesday has begun accepting donations online and through the mail. Those interested in meeting volunteers, board members, and staff working with nonprofits should attend the Give a Tuesday party at the Copper Country Mall December 2nd. And we are coming back in 3 minutes with a look at the forecast to help you plan your day. And later this morning, diving deeper into Caregiver Incentive Project Success Fund and the impact it's made so far. The time is 6:07 and you're watching My UP Mornings.
You're watching My UP Mornings.
Welcome back to my UP Mornings. I'm Erin Stasek. Here's what's up with our weather. We've got some wet skies out there today with a little bit of snow mixing in with those rain showers. More likely is the rain than the snow, but you could see some snowflakes out there. That might continue on Friday and Saturday. Looks to be mostly over in the east on our Friday, and it could be in a few other locations on Saturday. The winds, they might be a little breezy today, mainly during your lunch hour. You might not even notice it, but they could gust up on our Friday. This weekend, we're looking at slightly warmer temperatures during the day. We're still, kind of cold out there in the evening. Looking at our bus stop planner for today, that average temperature is going to be around 37 degrees. Again, more clouds this morning. You could see some sunshine this afternoon. So it's going to be chilly in the morning and kind of cool this afternoon with that average around 43 and some rain activity out there. Let's take a look at where those temperatures are heading out of these 30s, a few more 40s popping up by lunchtime. And a lot of us could see our highs during that 2 o'clock hour, maybe into the 3 o'clock hour as well today. But it's going to be relatively cool out there. And like I said, we are going to continue with cool temperatures on our Friday, but they'll dip down a little bit until this weekend when they get slightly above normal. Tracking the rain activity by 9 o'clock, you could expect it here in Marquette, headed into Munising and Escanaba, eventually tracking over to Newberry around 11, 12 o'clock this afternoon. And along that Lake Michigan coastline, another round rolls into Houghton and that northwest coast, and then kind of taking over almost nose to tail here by that 5, 6 o'clock drive time. So make sure you take it easy as those temperatures are starting to slip down into the 30s around that time as well. And you don't want to hit any icy spots. Looking at our Friday, we'll see a little bit of clear skies as we start our day. Some snowflakes possible there in Republic, Michigami area. That kind of continues in the mountains there into the afternoon, and looking at clouds increasing by lunchtime on that Friday. But overall, partly sunny skies expected. Max wind gusts today up to 30 miles an hour, mostly in Houghton. The rest of us mainly around 20 miles an hour as we take a look on the map here, getting into that lunch hours when you can expect it to pop up. For your 7-day in Marquette, we'll hit 43 degrees today, mostly sunny tomorrow, 38, and then back into those 40s for the weekend into Monday. Munising and Newberry around 43 degrees. Remember that rain pushes in to Newberry around lunchtime. Escanaba and Manistee around 44, 45 for your highs, and then cloudier conditions there. Up in Houghton and down in Iron Mountain will both be around 42 degrees, and then drier conditions coming on our Friday. We're going to take a break. We'll see you back here though in 3 minutes.
This morning we are catching up with the Caregiver Incentive Project. We have their founder, Eric Pat, joining us in the studio. How are you doing this morning, Eric?
I'm fine, thank you, Becca.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Great.
And
glad to be here, and thank you.
yes, we're excited to hear about, things that are going on with the Caregiver Incentive Project. But for people who don't know what this is, I mean, it's in the name, but tell people what this project is all about.
Okay, well, I'm the founder of it. Back in 2016 or 2017, I have an adult child that's disabled, and her mother and I provide all her care back then. Well, then she wanted to go to college. She wanted to have her own apartment. We wanted her to be as independent as possible, and we began to look for caregivers to help us. And I became very aware of how broken the system is and how shortage of caregivers to be found. And when there's a shortage, there's a high demand for them. Right now, Michigan's short 36,000 caregivers. And I thought, well, if nobody's doing something about it, I better do something about it. And so I started the Caregiver Incentive Project. Specifically, the incentive name is in there because that's what I thought. How can I find caregivers and incentivize them to become caregivers or stay as caregivers and help them be caregivers? And so that's what we did. We started a class. There was no standardized training for caregivers. You're going to be in the house caring for an adult or caring for a disabled, and there was no training. And I was shocked by that. I could not believe that there was no training. They just, here's the address, go there and care for that person. Wow, that just sickened me. And so that's how I started it. And we started out by creating a class, and we still have those classes, and we do them for free. And then we applied for a grant it's called Impart Alliance, and they're part of MSU. And they're actually trying to do the same thing that we're doing. They're trying to end it. And they're right there in Lansing, so they can work with the legislative people and everything. And we asked part of that grant for what we call a success fund. And that's what we're here to talk about today. This is our latest thing. We launched a soft launch a little bit ago, and what it is, it's a fund of money that we asked for. And we are giving this money or applying this money to caregivers. So either you want to be a caregiver, we want to try and help you become a caregiver. What's the barrier that keeps you from becoming one or being one? You have a car that doesn't reliably start in the morning. Maybe we can help with paying for a battery and an alternator, something like that. Maybe you don't have good snow tires, but all kinds of things that keep people from becoming caregivers or staying a caregiver. You get a job and you find out you need scrubs and a nice pair of shoes. Well, that's $200 and some bucks right there. And if you weren't ready for that, you might need help. And so that's the idea of how can we help you become or stay. And if you're a family caregiver, like I am, how can we help you? Because it's an expensive thing being a caregiver for an adult, being a caregiver for maybe your parents or something like that.
Like you said, it's relatively new. How has it been going so far?
It's been very well received. We get applications every week. And in fact, it was almost immediate when we soft launched it. We get a half a dozen to a dozen a week. We do our best to process them in a minimum or a maximum of 15 days, and usually it's by the very next Monday. And then every Monday, the final step is the final approval by our leadership, and then me writing the checks and signing the checks, and then they mail them out, or sometimes we hand them in person. And that's such a rewarding thing to know not only are we helping a caregiver, but to find out who that caregiver or how many that caregiver is helping. So, just now by touching that one life of that caregiver, we're liable to be touching a dozen lives. And in fact, just a side story here, the very first person that applied, car had broken down, or her van had broken down, and it was an alternator and a battery. She paid for it, but it took money out of her budget that was meant for other things, and she applied to us, and we reimbursed her that funding. And it turned out that not only is she a caregiver in people's homes, she also delivers Meals on Wheels, and she's a volunteer at a hospice place.
Wow, yeah.
So how many lives did this one individual touch that we helped? And that is so rewarding for us that we made such a difference.
It's making an impact for people in the UP, but the hope is to expand into the whole state, correct?
Absolutely. So the idea was we developed it up here and we wrote policies and procedures. We've now tested it out, how it works, and we got data of how many people applied and how many people approved. And I got to tell you, we lean towards wanting to approve them all. I mean, we just lean towards that, you know. Either that or convince me why we shouldn't give you the funding. But if you've got serious things that you have done or money you have paid, you could. So we're testing it here in the UP. Anybody across the UP, if you care for somebody in the UP, you can apply. You know, even if you come up out of Wisconsin to care for a Uper, if you're a student at NMU and you care for a Uper, you can apply for this funding. And it's easy to apply for. You go to our website, caregiverincentiveproject.org, and you go to caregiving, and there's a little jot form, I think it's called. You can fill it out right there and send it in, and the young lady that gets it sees them the day you send them, and it just sends it right through. If you want to hand fill it out, you can print it, and you can hand fill it out and mail it to us. And that's how you get in there. And just be open and honest with you. If you have a receipt, send us that receipt that you paid for that car repair already, or you paid for that set of scrubs or whatever, and you would like reimbursement for it. Just tell us why and what, and give us a copy of that receipt. Or if you have a quote for car repair or for new tires or something, give us that quote and say you'd like funding. You don't even have enough cash to go buy them, and you know, snow is coming. Tell us all that, and by golly, we're going to do our best to try and help you. And if we can't, if our fund isn't built big enough to give you all the funding, we'll certainly default to give you some of the funding, you know. So if you $600 for 4 brand new tires, I don't know if that's even realistic, and we maybe only have $300 to give, we'll at least do our best to help you.
Right, yeah.
If we can't cover the whole cost, at least we'll cover part of it. And then we also have things like gate belts and all kinds of things that we like to give to people when they come to our training, and that to help stock them up on things they're going to need to do their job. So it's not just this thing. There's other things we should be able to, or could, and other resources, other people that we know that maybe we can help you out.
For sure, it's definitely a much needed, you know, project that you guys have made here in the UP, and really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I would, if I could now, I just thought of something else I want to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I would say that if you live this already, if your parents are aging out, if you have a child like mine that's an adult and disabled, whatever card you were dealt, you're playing it the best you can. But if you haven't experienced this yet and you think, well, I'm only 22 or I'm only 30, you know, I'm not going to be old for a long time, or my parents aren't aging out yet, if you will. You know they're going to someday, but they're not yet. Or you haven't. But you know, you're maybe only a day away from either needing a caregiver or being a caregiver. A slip and fall on the ice and bang a head, somebody might need a caregiver tomorrow, and it might be your loved one. Or a child born, or a car wreck, or a stroke, anything like that could make you need a caregiver.
Thank you so much, Eric. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us on and helping us spread the word. And if you got anything else, call us. Just call us and ask us, and we're good for advice or help with some direction or help with introducing you. If we can't help you fix it, we probably know somebody that can.
For sure, yes. All right, we will have all those details for you on our website, myupnow.com. Stay with us, and we'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to My UP Mornings. The time is 6:29 on this Thursday morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, welcome to Thursday and Friday Eve,
Yes,
if you'd like to look at it
we
that
love
way.
saying Friday Eve.
We sure do. Let's take a look at what's happening with your forecast. What's up with your weather? Well, follow me over here. We'll see some raindrops, maybe snowflakes mixing in today. Some of that activity could continue tomorrow as well in the eastern half of the UP. We're looking at breezy conditions, chilly conditions on our Friday as well. And this weekend, slightly warmer temperatures. Taking a look at the radar at the moment, we've got rain pushing in on that west side. And again, some possible snowflakes are out there. Looking at our day, we'll start in the 30s, a little bit more cloud coverage out there. Some of us might see some sunshine, especially around that east half before those clouds and rain make their way there this afternoon. Temps in the 40s. Currently, we've got 34 degrees at Sawyer, Crystal Falls. It's 39 in Baraga, Marquette's at 36, 38 though in Houghton and Escanaba, Newberry 37 degrees. And Rebecca Bartolome is standing by with your headlines.
A Houghton County judge denies 2 motions in the Margaret Kempinen murder case. The judge rules against defense requests for privileged counseling records and to suppress defendant statements. The discovery motion sought therapy records of a minor present when Alvin Kempinen was killed at his Hancock Township home in November of 2023. The judge cites the same reasoning used to deny a similar motion for co-defendant Jacob Kempinen in October. The suppression motion also fails. The judge says Kempinen's responses when officers read her Miranda rights twice during her arrest shows she understood her rights. The defense attorney plans to appeal the suppression ruling. The court sets a 21-day motion deadline. Kempinen's trial is scheduled for January 26 of 2026, though prosecutor Dan Helmer expects the date may change due to holidays and scheduling conflicts. In other news, Highland Copper highlights progress on stream diversion and wetland restoration in the company's latest update on the Copperwood Mine project. Recently, Highland Copper shared new drone footage showing the completed restoration of wetland areas nearby the mine's work site, including at the Gypsy Creek wetland area and work to complete a bridge replacement over the Bluff Creek. In total, the company plans to restore up to 700 acres of wetlands. To support the stream diversion aspect of the environmental mitigation work, Highland Copper has planted 20,000 trees and 14,000 live stakes along the banks of the newly constructed streams. Environmental groups in the region have voiced concern over Highland Copper's plans, focusing on a dam Highland Copper will construct to hold mine waste that could contain toxic materials such as lead, arsenic, and mercury. A $50 million grant that would have supported Wakefield Township's industrial park and improved road infrastructure extended to the mine property was left out of the recently passed Michigan state budget. The mine has earned bipartisan support at different levels. At the state level, Republicans, led by the Upper Peninsula delegation, have championed the project's potential economic impacts. In September, the Daily Mining Gazette reported Senator Elissa Slotkin's support for the project. Highland Copper estimates that the Copperwood project's economic impact could generate more than $425 million. This morning, a major development in the Epstein case. The bill demanding the Justice Department release the Epstein files is now law. It comes 24 hours after a rare, near unanimous vote in Congress. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
Overnight, President Trump saying he signed the bill to release the Justice Department files on sex offender Jeffrey Epstein after fighting the move for months. The bill now requires the Justice Department release all files and communications related to Epstein within 30 days. But there's still no guarantee that every document will be made public. The bill includes exceptions, including a provision to withhold files that would jeopardize an active federal investigation or prosecution. A notable caveat, given Trump just last week called for an investigation into Epstein's relationship with prominent Democrats. Attorney General Pam Bondi yesterday said she ordered that new investigation, but she would not provide specifics.
Information that has come for there's information that new information, additional information.
Critics worry the new investigation into Democrats could be used to keep certain files hidden.
This is not an invitation for Donald Trump to pick and choose his version of the truth.
She doesn't have carte blanche to withhold a whole tranche of files.
Now, survivors worry this new investigation may be a loophole that prevents full transparency.
It's not political for us. It is just deeply personal. So I think we do have a little bit of hesitancy, and we're just really hoping that there aren't any new cases that would stall getting every single part of that file released.
The Justice Department says it may still withhold or redact the victims' identities and other sensitive personal records. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Unity Mental Health and Wellness is participating in their 4th Giving Tuesday this year, raising funds to provide mental health services to individuals and families in need. The practice has 2 offices in Houghton and 1 in Lawrence. Angela Price, a Unity co-founder, explains how their Hug Fund is used to help open the door to mental health care to clients who may have trouble affording it.
The Hug Fund is there really to help people that for one reason or another need help paying for services, and then they don't have to worry about it. So I think it's been really successful when people have expressed, the financial aspect as one of their barriers. We have a solution for them, so that's been really helpful.
For more information on Unity services and providers, check out their website or active Facebook page. You can donate to their Giving Tuesday fund through Copper Shore's website. We are coming back in 3 minutes with a check on the forecast to help you plan your day, plus a look at our 906 Weather Watchers photos.
You're watching My UP Mornings with Rebecca Bartlemay.
Welcome back to my UP Mornings from the upper Ordock now to the lower Ordock.
Yeah, this is a shot from Wayne in Marquette. I'm going to let you say it because I always say, no, what we call this when you can see the sun through the Ordock, the sunrise.
You think I know?
Well, it's called Orhenge, but I said it earlier and you're like, no.
I said orange head or orange. It is an orange head. It's orangish, you know. Round.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, buddy. Anyway, congratulations to everybody who had a chance to see this. Unfortunately, neither of us did, so thank you for taking those shots. We did have some gorgeous sunrises. This one is a Deer Lake, courtesy of Matt Schroederis, and just, I'm guessing a few moments later, this is what it looked like as well. Just yummers, and all those pretty colors matching us today. Yeah. So thank you for that, and I thought you might enjoy.
You know I love a little chunker.
Nom nom, said the cotton-tailed rabbit. This is from Kathy Cardoni. This rabbit from a couple days ago in Negaunee. I saw a rabbit this morning and a deer this morning on my commutes.
Wow.
I know.
All wildlife.
Check, check. 2 of those done. And then I know you can appreciate at least the amount of action that's going on in this, right?
Yes, I mean, I can. I know they're birds, but yeah.
They're our friends, Becca.
I love the squirrel.
Yeah, the squirrel and the birds. These are yellow grosbeaks that Kevin Dunham captured some shots of, and then just close your eyes or just absorb the cuteness of this little chickadee. I love the little fluff there and the red berries that are behind there.
And it's chubby.
And it's chubby, it's little chunkers. And it's also a reminder, or at least it reminds me of winter, that it is just around the corner, my friends. But we're still into fall.